from Packup. Remind me, and I will try to do one more. But we got a lot to do today. I'll try to fit it in. Okay. And you guys are probably looking at this like, wait, I have the answers. Do not move on ahead of me. If you guys are moving on ahead of me, you might have to erase it and move back. So I'm going to show you a specific thing with your number line that we did yesterday, and I want to clarify it. Yeah. Clocks are good. So we're out of here at 10:28. So Chad, remind me at 10:20. I'll probably be checking binders then, and just remind me to throw in a rare bird, okay? It is almost 10 o'clock. It's almost 10. So in like 20 minutes. Okay, so what happens when a number has two signs? These guys are all not new to you, hopefully. You know how to do this. It's good guys, bad guys. But I want you to get in the habit of doing something in 7th grade you'll see on the cast. Put your dot on 0. Okay, we always start at 0 when we have a number line. And we're going to move over to 4. Put an arrow. Then you have a dot above 4. And they're saying what number enters the battlefield next? A -3. Mason, which way do I go to show -3?
To the left.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. What would the answer be, Silent Hands? What is 4 plus a -3, Daniel?
1.
It's a positive 1. You ended there on the number line. Whenever you see a double sign, if there's a plus and a minus, on your homework, I need to see 4 minus 3. You need to write just one sign. If it's a plus and a minus, it always goes to a minus sign. The middle has to have one sign. We do not have two when we simplify it. Next one, -5 plus -2. How would I rewrite that to simplify or rate in question?
I thought the dot wasn't supposed to be filled in when it was going.
You have a really good point, and this is just modeling. If you're thinking back to inequalities in your 6th grade year, inequalities is a little different. If it says show the inequality, you're going to see a sign that looks like this or this. Do you guys remember that?
No. Yeah.
Last year we did that really, really quickly. So you're correct if we're doing inequalities. When we're modeling though, you don't have to worry about the dot. The dot can be filled in. Okay, good question. Thanks, Raiden. But don't do this. This is for another time. We'll review this right before CASP. How do I rewrite the -5 plus the -2? Colton.
You do -5 plus -2.
I'm going to rewrite it with one sign. How do I make it just have one sign?
Minus.
Hadley.
Minus.
Hadley.
-5 minus 2.
Perfect. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to go 5 to the left. Make an arrow. I'm going to go back to -5 and go 2 to the left. What's my answer, Chad? Put -7 and circle it. If you have a negative and a negative, this is called a not. Not at me if you remember the not. Mr. McAfee is not going to the store. If I walked up to a random stranger and said, hey, I'm not going to the store, you might respectfully punch me in the face. You don't talk like that. But in math we do. Sometimes there's a not sign. And when you have a not, watch what happens. It combines to a giant plus sign. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to rewrite this again as -6 plus 4. Chad, make sure you're professional. Start at 0. Which way do I go, Lauren?
You go left.
How many?
6.
Okay. From -6, which way do I go, Jackson?
You go right.
How many?
4.
What's my answer, Cameron? Is it negative or positive? Great. Then the bad guy was bigger. -6 wins this one. Last one. I am not going to the store. Help me rewrite this one, Corbin. 8 minus -1. What does it look like? A giant plus sign, just like we did up here. Make it 8 plus 1. Start at the number 0. Go right 8. Draw an arrow. Then go 1 over. The answer should be 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. Question? Question? Comment? Logan, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, here's your big idea. Skip the next 2 number lines. Adding a negative number. If you're adding a negative number, it's equivalent to here's what you're going to do. Go back up to this number line, and you are going to make your own problem right here and model it. So I know I have to go from -3 over to 1. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to go to -3. Then I'm going to go over how many. How would I get from -3 to 1? Fill that guy in. Then do the same thing. But this time you're going to start at -4. Try that. Test that question. Okay. Hopefully you put -3 plus 4 to get to 1. And hopefully you put -4 and then just anything. I could have literally put like a 2 or a 3 and I would have had it end somewhere. Let's just say like 6. -4 plus 6 would end at 2. This one could be whatever you want though. This one should be 1. You're on the same page, right? Okay, last bit of notes. Adding a negative number. We're going to get a little algebra-y, meaning this is going to kind of look confusing. You still need to know it, though, because it's got to sit in the back of your head if you see an algebra-type problem on a test. If you're adding a negative number is equivalent to subtracting a positive. Here's what that looks like. If you are adding a negative number, let's say I have some number, we'll call him A. We're adding a negative number. That is the same thing as subtracting a positive. A plus negative b is the same thing as a minus b. A minus b, same thing. You can rewrite it as a minus b. You do not have to have the parentheses. If you're subtracting a negative number, it is equivalent to adding, next page, a positive. Yeah, English blunder. We're not going to count it. I did?
Yeah, you said.
No way. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know.
We said blunder.
You should do it.
We do it because there's 2.
One a week?
2.
I'll give you one a week.
Yes.
2 blunders. I'm not going to make a blunder for the next 5 minutes.
You're not gonna make a
No more blunders.
You said you're not gonna. We're gonna try.
Uh-huh. For any number a plus b, it looks like this. A, board of paper. Mason, off task 1. A minus negative b. A minus negative B. What that actually means is adding a positive. A plus B. Looking at example 1, this is similar to yesterday. It won't be different until we get to example 4. But we're going to just review. Remember, I'm not going to do a number line if I don't have to. I'm not going to make a number line of 123 dots. I would run out of the room screaming, my arm might fall off. I'm thinking just what's a good guy, what's a bad guy? Who wins this battle? Nora. The negative, the bad guy, and he wins by how many? Well, let's take away 25. I'm going to start at 123. Let's take away 25. 123, take away 25. They're fighting. Logan talking one. Let's see if I can subtract 3 minus 5. I can't, so I borrow. I can't subtract 1 minus 2. Borrow. My answer should be 98. Is it positive or negative? Whole class? Negative. It's a bad guy. Moving on. Example 2, negative 98 minus 2.5. We're going to get into decimals more in a few lessons so we can perfect that skill. This is a bad guy and a bad guy. What are they doing? Are they fighting or are they banding, Logan? They band together. So watch what I do. Instead of fighting and taking away, we're just going to add the 98 with the 2.5. Remember from last year, we always have to build a snowman. These dots have to line up. Do 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 I'm done. We're moving on. Example 3. Check your swag. Sitting up straight. 3, 2, 1. Example 3. We have a not, but there's a bad guy. So let's rewrite this again so that I can see what's actually happening. Negative 1 minus a negative 40, or negative 100 minus negative 45 is really negative 100 plus 45. What's happening with these? Are they fighting or are they banding? Max. They're fighting. Who wins, Max? Who wins? So let's take away 45 from 100. I'm going to cancel the 1. I still can't subtract 0. I'm going to cancel the 10 and make a 9. I can now do 10 minus 5. My answer should be 55, or instead of 55, what should I put here? Jackson. It should be a bad guy. Bad guys win. The last example. Negative 4 plus a negative 9.3. What are these two numbers actually doing? Do they fight? Or do they do something else, Reese? They're banding because both of them are bad guys. We don't fight when we both have negatives next to the number. Rewrite that as negative 4 minus 9.3. Negative 4 minus 9.3. Rewrite it. Rewrite it. Rewrite that one. Rewrite it. And let's see how we can add. Do 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 do. What's my blunder? That's my answer. What'd I do wrong? It's a purposeful blunder, so I'm not going to count it. Cameron, what'd I do?
It's not a negative.
It's got to be a bad guy because they're both bad. Beautiful. Next page, please.
Oh, wait.
What?
You didn't add a minus or plus sign.
Where?
Go up. There's no plus or minus.
Right here, I added it.
Oh,
No, on the problem.
In the snowman problem.
I was just combining it.
Yeah, but how do we know that? You can add subtraction.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you know they're negative?
Nah.
Yeah,
How do you know
how
they're
would you know?
negative? That's a
Nah.
wonder.
I said no more